everywhere.
Right. So many of you requested this deep dive, and we get it.
Well, yeah.
This series, it's got a reputation.
Addicting.
Yes. But also a little daunting.
Yeah.
Multiple books, novellas.
It's a whole world.
It is. So let's unpack what makes this first book so captivating.
Yes.
And see if it, well, lives up to the hype. Welcome back to whttr, your shortcut to being well-read, even when you're, well, short on time.
That's us. Deep dives for busy minds.
Exactly. And today, we are diving deep into a book that's, gosh, taken the fantasy world by storm.
Oh, yeah.
A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first in Sarah J. Maas's wildly popular series.
It's everywhere.
Right. So many of you requested this deep dive, and we get it.
Well, yeah.
This series, it's got a reputation.
Addicting.
Yes. But also a little daunting.
Yeah.
Multiple books, novellas.
It's a whole world.
It is. So let's unpack what makes this first book so captivating.
Yes.
And see if it, well, lives up to the hype.
Okay, so what's fascinating here is how Maas takes a familiar tale, Beauty and the Beast,
A classic.
and weaves it into this world brimming with fairy lore and intricate political dynamics. It's not just a retelling.
Yeah.
It's like a complete reimagining. It sets the stage for a much larger, more complex story.
Right. And right away, we meet Feyre.
Our protagonist.
Yes. And she is, well, she's anything but a helpless princess.
No damsel in distress here.
Not at all. She's hunting to feed her family. She's got this like fierce independence that sets her apart from, you know, your typical fairy tale heroine. But then that encounter
with the wolf fairy,
it throws her life into chaos, forces her to cross into Prythian, the magical realm of the Fae.
That crossing, it's so symbolic.
Oh, how so?
It's not just about Feyre, you know, entering a new world.
Yeah.
It's about stepping into a realm of magic, danger, ultimately self-discovery. And it's interesting how Maas uses that initial setting.
The human lands?
Yeah, to contrast the bleakness of Feyre's existence with the alluring yet potentially treacherous world of the fairies.
Exactly. And we see that contrast so vividly when Feyre arrives at Tamlin Spring Court. It's all sunshine, roses, luxurious comfort.
A little shift.
Such a stark difference from that harsh winter she left behind. But even amidst that beauty,
there's a darkness.
Yes. There are these subtle hints of darkness, a sense that things aren't, well, as idyllic as they seem.
It's like Maas is playing with us.
Oh, how soon?
With our expectations. You're lulled into this sense of enchantment.
Right.
But then she introduces those unsettling elements.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Look at those masked figures at Calanmai, the warnings about Amarantha, this lurking danger that seems to follow Feyre wherever she goes.
And then there's Tamlin himself. He's that classic, brooding, handsome fairy lord. But, you know, there's more to him than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely.
He carries the weight of responsibility as High Lord, haunted by a past trauma.
Oh.
We only get glimpses of it in this first book.
Remember that painting Feyre finds? The vibrant flowers against a dark background?
Yeah.
It's like a visual representation of his internal struggle.
Oh, interesting.
That duality of beauty and darkness that defines him. And it kind of foreshadows the challenges he'll face as the series progresses.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of intriguing characters.
Ooh, yes.
We can't forget Lucien, Tamlin's sly and sarcastic companion.
He's great.
Such a source of wit and mystery.
A total mystery.
And his dynamic with Feyre.
Full of banter.
Yes. Playful banter and this underlying tension. He definitely keeps us guessing about his true intentions.
He does. And I think that's, you know, one of the hallmarks of Maas's writing, creating these complex characters with hidden depths, motivations that are slowly revealed as the story unfolds. We're constantly kept on our toes.
Wondering who to trust?
Exactly. And what secrets lie beneath the surface.
And speaking of secrets, the arrival of Rhysand.
Oh, boy.
It throws a major wrench into the narrative.
For sure.
This is where those Beauty and the Beast parallels start to, well, unravel. Rhysand, with his undeniable charisma, that air of danger, challenges our perceptions of good and evil.
Yeah.
Forces Feyre and us as readers to question everything we thought we knew.
His presence completely disrupts the power dynamics.
How so?
He represents a world beyond the Spring Court, a darker, more sensual realm that both terrifies and fascinates Feyre. And that first encounter at Calanmai, charged with this, electrifying tension.
Yes.
It hints at the complex relationship they'll develop later in the series.
Right. It's like a crack in the fairy tale facade, a glimpse into a world of shadows and secrets that Feyre is only just beginning to understand. And from that moment on, the story takes a much darker turn, leading us to that terrifying climax under the mountain.
That's where the real stakes are established.
Yeah.
Feyre's journey under the mountain, it's more than just a physical trial. It's a test of her courage, her resilience, her willingness to confront her own inner darkness. And it's also where Rhysand's true nature starts to emerge, revealing a complexity that, defies easy categorization.
And let's talk about that ending. It's a whirlwind of betrayal, sacrifice, and a shocking revelation about Feyre's true nature.
Oh, yeah.
It leaves us reeling, questioning everything we thought we knew about the characters and the world they inhabit. I remember, gasping out loud when, well, I won't spoil it for those who haven't read it yet.
Right.
But let's just say, book 1 is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. It's a brilliant setup for the rest of the series, leaving us with so many questions and a burning desire to know what happens next. What will become of Feyre now that she's been, irrevocably changed by her experiences?
Right.
What role will Rhysand play in her future? And what other secrets lie hidden within the world of Prythian? Welcome back to our deep dive into A Court of Thorns and Razes.
Picking up where we left off.
Feyre emerging from under the mountain, forever marked by her experience and, facing an uncertain future. What's so captivating about this series is how it doesn't shy away from, the psychological impact of trauma. It shows us how Feyre grapples with the aftermath of what she endured.
You're so right. We see her struggling with, nightmares, flashbacks, this deep-seated fear that lingers even when she's back in the, supposed safety of the Spring Court.
Right.
It's a stark reminder that escaping a physical prison doesn't mean you're free from, the mental and emotional scars.
Exactly. And this is where those cracks in Tamlin's facade, they become more prominent.
Okay.
While he initially appears to be, caring and protective, his actions become increasingly controlling.
Interesting.
He isolates Feyre, restricts her freedom, dismisses her attempts to, reclaim her agency. It's a subtle shift. But it raises questions about whether he's truly the hero we thought he was.
It's almost like he's trying to recreate the cage she just escaped from.
Yeah.
Even if he believes he's doing it for her own good.
Yeah.
And that's where the tension between Feyre and Tamlin really starts to build. She's not, that naive girl who arrived in Prythian anymore.
Right.
She's tasted freedom, faced unimaginable darkness. And she's not willing to be confined again, even by someone she cares about.
It's such a powerful exploration of consent and agency,
Yeah.
especially within a romantic relationship. Feyre's growing frustration with Tamlin, it highlights how even well-intentioned actions can be harmful if they disregard someone's autonomy and their need to heal on their own terms.
And it's interesting how Maas uses the setting to reflect this, shifting dynamic.
Yeah.
The Spring Court, which once seemed so idyllic, it starts to feel suffocating. It's all about beauty and control, with nature itself manipulated to conform to Tamlin's will.
Right.
It's a stark contrast to the, wild, untamed energy of the Night Court, which we get glimpses of through Feyre's dreams and memories.
That contrast is so deliberate.
Oh, how so?
The Night Court. Despite its reputation for, darkness and danger, it represents a different kind of freedom. It's a place where emotions run high.
Yeah.
Where power is acknowledged and embraced. And where Feyre, despite her fear, feels a sense of belonging that she just doesn't have in the Spring Court.
Remember that scene where Feyre first meets Rhysand's inner circle? Mor, Cassian, Azriel. They're all powerful, confident, and fiercely loyal to Rhysand.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they treat Feyre with respect, recognizing her strength and her trauma, which is something, she doesn't always get from Tamlin.
That scene is so pivotal. It introduces a whole new cast of characters who will become like central to Feyre's journey.
Right.
And it showcases a different model of leadership.
Okay.
One that's based on trust, shared responsibility, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. It's a stark contrast to Tamlin's more isolated and controlling style.
And let's not forget the slow burn romance that starts to simmer between Feyre and Rhysand.
Ooh, yes.
It's not love at first sight. It's a gradual building of trust, respect, and this undeniable attraction stemming from their shared experiences and their understanding of each other's darkness.
It's a masterclass in building sexual tension. But it's also about, like, two broken souls finding solace in each other, recognizing the pain and strength they both carry. And it challenges that traditional fairy tale notion.
Well, that's that.
That a hero must always be shining and perfect.
Yeah.
Rhysand, with all his flaws and darkness, he becomes Feyre's true savior. Not by rescuing her, but by empowering her to save herself.
And that empowerment is so central to Feyre's character arc.
Absolutely.
She starts training, honing her physical abilities, tapping into that raw power that lies dormant within her. She's no longer waiting for someone to save her. She's taking control of her own destiny.
And those training scenes, they're not just about, physical strength.
Like that.
They're about Feyre confronting her fears, pushing past her limitations, discovering a resilience she never knew she possessed. It's a visceral and satisfying journey to witness.
Absolutely. And as she grows stronger, we see her becoming more strategic, more cunning.
Yeah.
She starts to understand the political landscape of Prythian, the alliances and rivalries that shape the fate of the fairy realms. She's not just a pawn in someone else's game. She's becoming a player in her own right.
And this is where the series really takes off, moving beyond the confines of the Beauty and the Beast framework and into a much more intricate and epic narrative.
Okay.
Feyre's journey becomes intertwined with the fate of Prythian as she's drawn into a conflict that threatens to destroy everything she holds dear.
And let's be real, the world building in this series is just phenomenal.
It's incredible.
Maas expands on the already rich world of Prythian, introducing new locations, fascinating creatures, deepening our understanding of fairy culture and history. It's a world that feels both magical and dangerous, with a depth and complexity that, keeps you coming back for more.
It's true. She creates this immersive experience that draws you in and makes you feel like you're right there alongside Feyre, exploring the bustling streets of Valaris, training in the mountains with the Illyrians, or navigating the treacherous political landscape of the High Lord's court.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've seen Feyre grapple with trauma, challenge the expectations placed upon her, and begin to embrace her true power. And we've only scratched the surface of the intricate world building, the complex relationships, and the epic battles that await us in the rest of the series.
What I find so compelling about A Court of Thorns and Roses is how it subverts classic fairy tale tropes, exploring themes of agency, consent, and the power of embracing one's true self. It's a story that resonates with readers of all ages, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, we have the strength to forge our own path and fight for what we believe in.
You've put it perfectly. And as we move into the later books, we'll see Feyre's journey continue to unfold in ways that are both exhilarating and thought-provoking. She'll face unimaginable challenges, make difficult choices, and ultimately discover the true extent of her power and the depth of her love. But for now, we'll leave you with this question. What do you think is the most significant turning point for Feyre in this, second book? What moment truly sets her on the path to becoming the powerful, independent High Fae we know she's destined to be? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Welcome back to whttr, where we help you navigate this vast
and sometimes overwhelming
world of must-read books. We've been deep diving into A Court of Thorns and Roses, and by now you've seen Feyre transform from, human huntress to a powerful fairy warrior.
Absolutely.
Grappling with complex relationships, a looming war.
It's a lot.
It is. What's striking is how this series evolves. It's like watching a flower unfurl, revealing layers of intricate beauty.
And thorns.
Yes. Unexpected thorns along the way.
Right.
As we move into the later books, Maas really expands the scope of the story.
Okay.
We delve deeper into Prythian's political landscape, uncovering ancient prophecies, hidden alliances, the intricate workings of, the High Lord's court,
It's a world
teeming with magic,
of danger.
and a rich history stretching back centuries.
And Feyre's not just navigating her own personal struggles anymore. She's, becoming a key player in a battle for the fate of Prythian itself.
Huge stakes.
Remember that bargain she made with Rhysand?
Oh.
Under the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those consequences, they come back in a big way.
They do.
Forcing her to confront the true cost of her choices, the weight of responsibility she now carries.
That bargain, it's so crucial.
Yeah.
Because it binds Feyre to Rhysand in a way that goes beyond, romance.
Okay.
It's a pact forged in shared darkness, a recognition of their mutual need for survival and their shared desire to protect those they love. And it sets the stage for a partnership that, will challenge both of them to grow, to evolve in ways they never imagined. It's almost like they become two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Feyre brings her compassion.
Yes. Her unwavering loyalty. Her human understanding of, empathy and sacrifice.
And Rhysand. He offers strategic brilliance.
Right.
His vast knowledge of the fairy world. And his willingness to make, tough decisions, even when they're morally gray.
And it's that moral grayness
That makes this series so compelling.
there are no easy answers.
Yeah.
No clear-cut heroes and villains. Every character, even those we initially perceive as, antagonists, they have layers of complexity, hidden motivations, a capacity for both, great good and terrible darkness.
It makes you think, who are you truly rooting for?
Right. What sacrifices are acceptable in the name of, say, love or loyalty? These are the kinds of questions Maas throws at us.
They stick with you.
They do, long after you finish the books.
And it's not just the characters, it's the world itself.
Ah.
Prythian. It's this realm where magic and politics, they're intertwined, where ancient traditions clash with, modern realities, and where the lines between good and evil, they're constantly shifting.
It feels both familiar and utterly unique.
A testament to Maas's imaginative world building.
And let's not forget the romance.
Oh, the romance.
Sarah and Rhysand's relationship. It's one of the most talked about aspects of this series, and for good reason.
It's a slow burn.
Full of tension, longing, and this incredible sense of connection that stems from their shared trauma, their deep understanding of each other's, souls.
It's a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, a shared passion for fighting for what they believe in.
And yes, there's plenty of heat and sensuality.
But it's never gratuitous.
No, it's an expression of their love, their vulnerability, and their shared desire to, reclaim their bodies and their hearts after experiencing so much darkness.
And it's not just about romantic love, it's about friendship, those chosen bonds.
Yes. And we see this in the relationships Feyre forms with Rhysand's inner circle. Mor, Cassian, Asriel, Amren.
They become her found family, her support system, her comrades in arms.
They challenge her, protect her, and celebrate her victories as their own. And it's through these relationships that Feyre truly comes into her own, discovering the strength that comes from, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you.
Yeah.
Even when you doubt yourself.
And that, I think, is the ultimate message of A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's about finding your power, embracing your true self, and fighting for what you love, even when the odds are stacked against you.
It reminds us that even in the darkest of times,
There's hope.
there's always a reason to keep fighting.
Yeah.
And always the possibility of finding, love and light in the most unexpected places.
Beautifully said. As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
we want to leave you with one final thought. A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's more than just a fantasy series.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of our own world, our own struggles with identity, power, the choices we make when facing adversity. It asks us to question our assumptions, to embrace our complexities, and to remember that even in a world filled with darkness, there's always potential
Potential for.
for growth, love, and transformation.
So if you haven't already,
Pick up this series.
dive into the magical world of Prythian.
We promise.
It's a journey you won't soon forget.
And that's a wrap on another whttr Deep Dive. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of A Court of Thorns and Roses. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the series. So connect with us on social media, share your favorite moments, your burning questions, your theories. Until next time, happy reading.
And remember, even if you're short on time,
You can always find a few moments
to escape.
into a good book.